I'm going the inexpensive route, and I purchased Sensen struts, replacements for my Acura. The reviews are mixed. There's some bad reviews, some good reviews. I'm gonna give it a shot and see how they work. Send me any comments, or if you want to see after a certain amount of time how the struts are performing, let me know. To compress the coil, I purchased this tool for $35 at AutoZone. I'm going to start by taking off the tires, of course, after I lift the car. One of the things I'm also going to do is take these caps off to expose the bolts that I'm going to need to remove. And typically the bolts sometimes, or the sockets sometimes, fall inside. So for the Acura here, you need to remove this little rubber strip. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze and push up a little bit. The strut's been exposed. I have removed the tabs at the top. You can see the nut inside. What you're going to need to do is use an extender socket. This is a 14mm socket. And make sure you never remove the center bolt. You got to get the strut out first. So go ahead and loosen them. You don't have to take them off yet. Now we're going to take off the sway bar, the link bar. Okay, so I've gone ahead and removed the nut so that I can take off the stabilizer bar, link bar. I've disconnected the speed sensor. There's one. There's another connector back here. I've disconnected the brake line, and I've taken off the two strut nuts. Okay, now, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off the nuts at the top. If I want, I could remove just one of these. I want the whole strut coming down, so let's go ahead and let these two bolts hold it in place while I remove the nuts from the top of the strut. Now that I've removed the nuts from the top, I'm going to go ahead and start removing the bolts here, and I'm going to be careful that the whole thing doesn't come down. Oh, and I have to finish pushing this out. The sway bar is out, the bolts are out, the strut simply just dropped, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it out, making sure that I don't break any of the lines. I'm going to need both hands, but I'll be grabbing it and just pulling it out. We're going to put the spring compressors on. If you see this little plastic cover, make sure you remove it first. So we don't want the compressor to slide off of it. So go ahead and remove them. The first coil compressor I'm going to put close to the top as you can, and make sure you have some safety latches. Okay, that one's in. The safety pins are in. Now it's just a matter of starting to tighten these together and compressing the coil until it comes loose. It's a lot of work. Okay, the coil's compressed. You can see it's loose. The top is loose. Also, you may get some of the bearings. There's bearings in there, inside between there, and they fall out. So you may want to start getting those if you plan to reuse the top bearings. Make sure you don't lose any. I'm gonna now loosen the top bolt. You're gonna need a 17mm wrench and an Allen wrench as well. So I put the Allen wrench in the very center. The wrench is in, and I'm going to further use this as lever and try to loosen this up. Okay, it broke loose. The nut came out, the washer came out, the top of the strut came out. You can tell the bearings are falling off. If you're going to reuse it, make sure you don't lose any. And then I'm going to take this cover off. So it comes off. Clean all of it, re-grease it, put the bearings in. So I'm going to clean it all, take out the spring, and then start reassembling the new one. Okay, so I cleaned it all out. There are bearings. I re-greased it. Commonly, you probably want to replace this. They sell the whole thing with the new bearings. I decided to just clean it and put it back. It seems fine. So I'm putting it in. Seems to seal good. Okay, feels solid. Here are the parts that are going to go back. Got the spring, got the new strut. Take out the connector there. I'm going to put the spring in, and then I'm going to start putting the parts in order. Here are the additional parts. I've got the spring ready. I've got this rubber washer that goes underneath this plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on next. As I put this rubber piece, there are these little rubber things that pull out so that it stays in place. So make sure you pull those out. To put this back, there's a positioning to it. And one thing to note is maybe before you take it off, is the yellow markings. You see the yellow markings on this. So here's the yellow marking, and there's the yellow marking. So this is the order, the position is going to go everything back in. I'm going to put the spring back in. Also, you'll notice that there is a little lift here, so that when the spring will hit. So I want to make sure that all of that aligns properly. That's how it should go. And then this is going to go the yellow matching. It doesn't have to be perfect. This rotates, and there's only one way that this top fits in the car, in the vehicle. So this is a pattern, and it fits exactly the way it needs to fit. Now I need to put the cover on in the yellow marking. Line right there. I need both hands to align this, put it all nicely neat together, so I can put the cover and the nut that comes with it. I almost forgot the cap. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this. Have to use the Allen wrench again. Okay, the strut is put together. The coil looks like it's in the right position. There's a little lip right here. This ends there. We have the old rubber bushing used to show that it ended there. The yellow markings are aligned, so we're all good. I did stick the screwdriver a little bit. It was pinching the rubber here. I just popped it. So now as I decompress the coil, it should slowly start popping all back in. The strut is completed. Time to put it back. Lots of work though. I put the strut in. You really need a person to kind of help you lift it and hold it. The top can only go one way, and actually my alignment was a little off, so this was facing that way. If that happens, you could turn it. So you can see here, we can turn the whole strut and just go ahead and turn it till it aligns. The bolts to the strut are in. These get torqued to 116 foot-pounds or 157 Newton meters. Now connect the brake line. Okay, now connect the stabilizer link bar. If you want to make it easier, in case the holes don't align, you can stick a screwdriver at the bottom, kind of lift it up a little bit, and then you can shove it in. Make sure that the speed sensor cable is in between the two so that it's connected here, so it's not on the outside. This now you can torque. Stabilizer bar link nuts, 58 foot-pounds or 78 Newton meters. Everything's connected. Looks fine. One thing when you do this job, you're going to need to do a wheel alignment. Make sure that it's all back to specification. So go get a wheel alignment.